Hey, Camp Roger families, this is Jake, the camp director. Thank you for joining us for our virtual parent orientation. We'll talk a little bit about everything camp for you guys. So, you've probably all seen me around camp at least a little bit. I've been here since 2015. I've been everything from the archery specialist to the Wasatch unit leader. I was a program director and assistant director from 2020 through 2022. No, the end of 2022. I was a Y kid growing up. I played sports at the Cypress YMCA area in Houston, and I personally never went to camp, but my father was one of the campers at Camp Rogers in the 70s and a counselor here as well. So this is kind of in my blood. And if you see that picture on the bottom left, that is kind of the dynasty of people who have got me to where I'm at. So if you knew Marcy, Gus, or Jesus, they have led me to where I'm at. So this is where the magic happens. This is a view from the windows of the lodge looking north at Moose Mountain. Yeah. Some more views of camp. The image on the left is a picture of camp from the top of Moose Mountain. Looks much smaller from up there. And then just a different perspective on the field. If you've ever heard of the game Grenade, this is an image of that game happening last year. It was very popular around camp. It happens in the volleyball pit where we've never played volleyball, at least not too frequently anyways. And then another picture of Moose Mountain and an image of some of our CITs from last year who will be volunteering this summer or working with us. And then here we have a map of camp, very roughly drawn, but gorgeous all the same, done by Kate, our program director. And you can see an image from one of our opening campfires there as well. So these are the directions to get to camp. We are just about 14 and a half miles east of Camas, up the Mirror Lake Highway. So you'll head from Salt Lake on I-80, past Park City, take exit 146 to US 40. We'll follow signs to Heber. You'll take exit 4 and then follow signs to Camas. From Camas, once you get there, you'll take a left at the first stoplight and then a right at the second stoplight by the Chevron, up Mirror Lake Highway. And you'll follow that for 14 and a half miles, right until you get to the big open parking space. There's a pit toilet up there that the Forest Service uses as well. And then you will cross the bridge and follow the road up until you see our main sign. And you've made it there. So the foundation of what we do here at camp is to provide all of our communities, which is really just the people who come, with experiences that enhance a healthy body, mind, and spirit while building strong kids, stronger families, and strong communities. And we do that everything through the lens of the 4 core values of honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. And the foundational goals of camp, or the end goals of our program, is to help build self-esteem, encourage healthy values, celebrate diversity, practice collaboration and community skills, and teach reverence for the world, and ultimately just have fun. All right, and this is kind of our team composition. So there is what we call our support staff, and these are really just the leaders around camp. So myself, my assistant director, the two program directors that we have, and then the 3 head counselors that we have. And then the cabin leaders and the specialists are really the people who make the magic happen at camp. These are the people who run activities, who are with your campers all day long, and just kind of are the people at camp who will be remembered most. And then lastly, we have our facility support staff, and they help in all sorts of ways. Everything from like maintenance to like our kitchen and making sure all of your kids are fed healthy and nutritious meals every day. And that's a much smaller section of our team, but valuable all the same. Some of our staff qualifications. Everybody goes through multiple rounds of interviews, especially our international staff. They have a series of interviews before I even get to interview them. Everybody is background checked. We get references for everybody. We run fingerprints on our local staff, and then everybody goes through 2 weeks of staff training. The first week is very like a college course for counselors where we go over all of the policies and procedures and risk assessment, health, safety, all of the things you'd really want your counselors to know about being a camper or being a counselor at camp. And then in the second week, we get everybody into the rhythm of our schedule, and that is a more fun, just kind of enjoy the magic of camp as an adult, which is something that you can definitely do. And then some of the highlights of staff training include, again, that child care protection, risk management, the YMCA of Northern Utah's IDEA program, which is inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, which is one of the main goals of camp is making sure that everybody who comes just feels welcome, supported, seen, heard, all of that. And then during the second week is really where we go over like the core memories that camp can provide, and the core values get not harped on, but like really brought to the fore a lot during these 2 weeks of training to make sure that everybody understands what we're about here. So I've been talking for a little bit, and you're probably wondering what else I'm going to cover in the rest of this presentation. But we're looking at programs that we run, what you can expect as far as communication from camp, how the check-in process can work, what to expect while you're at camp, what our departure looks like, and then kind of what you should plan to pack for camp. So the 4 main programs that we run at Camp Roger are traditional camp, and those range from age 8 to 14. From 14, we have our leadership program, and those are our Rising Stars, our LITs, and our CITs. And those 2 stands for Leader in Training and Counselor in Training. And these are the guys that like really love camp and want to do the job that we are training them to do. And then mini camp is a 3-day, 2-night program. So they'll show up on Sunday with everybody else. They stay with us until Wednesday, and then they go home. But they do a lot of the things that everybody else does around camp. They still go through like the activity rotation and all of those things that I'll show you guys in just a little bit. And then we have the Little Rogers. They show up on Thursday, and they only stay for a night. And these age ranges are ideal. We do make exceptions, so don't worry too much about that. As far as communication goes, before camp begins, you can expect to hear from me before the Sunday before, ultimately. This will have information about everything arriving to camp. So transportation, bus transportation, it'll give you directions, and it goes over a little bit of what Friday departure looks like. And then Thursday before you arrive, you'll get what we call our check-in email. And this email has all of the information about our check-in process and how that works from year to year. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me. The email is there, jgreen@ymcautah.org. Or you can reach out to the Welcome Desk team via the hyperlink as well. They're a great resource if you need help. Or if they can't answer your question, they will get it to me. Parent communication. Again, if you need help, the Welcome Desk, that's their email address. You have my email address there as well, and then a Zoom phone number. Then what you can expect from us while your kid is at camp, you get daily Facebook photos, and then during the week you'll have email updates and social media posts. And then up next, we'll go over how you communicate with your campers. So communicating with your campers is obviously very important to you, and we understand that. You're going to email your camper. The information on how to do that will be in those welcome emails, but it should be camproger@ymcautah.org. You're going to email them with their name, their cabin number. If you remember it, it's not as important. And then we print those out every day before lunch, and then we deliver them Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday is a little harder because everybody's off camp, but Friday we do mail as well. If you're looking to send mail through the U.S. Postal Service, you can send it to YMCA Camp Roger, send your camper's name, cabin number again, and then general delivery to Camish, Utah, and then the zip code is 84036. Sorry, my video's covering that up. I would move it, but I'm not sure how. So check-in day. Check-in starts at 2:30, and this happens with assigned waves. So the way it works is we plan for our Wasatch kids to arrive soonest. So at that 2:30 to 3:30 block, from 3:30 to 4:30, we expect our middle unit, which is our soapstone unit, and then from 4:30 till 5:30 ish, we expect the last of our campers to arrive. And the reason this is our older campers we feel like can wait just a little bit longer, and the younger campers it's a little bit harder to just hold them at the cabin or find ways to kill 3 hours until dinner time, because really check-in takes up a good bulk of our Sunday. But you'll arrive at the front gate, you'll get checked in, you'll get a cabin number from a member of support staff. On your way from there, you'll run into a blue tent where you'll meet our health coordinator. You can drive around, meet our kitchen staff, you'll meet your counselors, and they'll help you move into your cabins. So this is our schedule for the week. This is exactly what our counselors get. Um, and I'll kind of walk you through it just so you know and can explain to your campers what they can expect a week of camp to look like. Sunday is really simple. It really is just taken up by a lot of check-in. We meet at the flagpole for evening hype at 5:45. We go to dinner. Everybody does chores to help take care of camp and encourage stewardship. And then we move right into opening campfire. After opening campfire, we strongly encourage everybody to go on a night hike just to get everybody used to being out in the dark, um, away from the city. You know, for a lot of kids, this can be a challenging experience, and we like to make it as easy as possible. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are all very, very similar. So we get up at 7. We meet at the flagpole at 7:45 for what we call morning hype. Um, Basically, we have a cabin that does a song or a skit to get everybody excited for the day. We also have introduced a movement exercise into the day just to kind of get everybody loose and free and feeling ready for the day before breakfast. After breakfast, we do chores. From chores, we move into what we call chirple. And chirple is the 4 core values: caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility, followed by the PL, which somebody told me stands for place of learning, which I really like. And we talk about the 4 core values and make sure everybody kind of is on that same page. Then we have 2 activities before we gather for lunch, followed by 2 more activities. And then we have free time before dinner, and then unit time after that, which is followed, depending on the day, by something different. So Mondays we do what we call our marshmallow campfire, and that is where campers will gather with their cabins, talk about the 4 core values, and which dog tag they'd like to earn, which I'll get to in just a little bit because the dog tags are a big part of what happens at Camp Roger. I have all of mine. They're very popular. But Tuesday we do a staff meeting, and for that we gather everybody into the lodge and everybody watches a movie while the staff kind of discuss how the week is going and just get things solidified. Make sure if there's any issues we can address it and help people out, or just make sure camp is running smoothly. Um, for Wednesday, that is our theme day. So we do our theme dinner. It's usually a bigger dinner, kind of fancier than you would expect for camp. But after theme dinner, we do our big theme game. So everybody's running around in the field, having a good time, earning cabin points. Thursday, things really change. So we get up at around the same time. Morning hype still happens. We still go through chirple and all that jazz. But after breakfast, everybody packs a lunch, and then we leave camp at roughly 10:30. So some of the campers will leave and head down to the pool. And then our oldest unit, Wasatch, if they so choose, will go up Moose Mountain, which is a pretty challenging hike, but it is worth it once you make it to the top. Once everybody gets back, the rest of the day is really chill. We encourage everybody to shower, rest, and then begin packing up their stuff. Roughly at about 5:45, we expect our camp counselors to get started on their cookout dinner. We do hobo burgers. Everybody's favorite meal at camp, I swear, is the hobo burgers, uh, unless maybe spaghetti Mondays if you've heard about those. But I digress. Um, Followed by cookout dinner, we do our camp celebration, which is really just dance, but we call it a camp celebration. And that ends with a slideshow, and then lights are out. Friday moves super quickly. Everybody sleeps in till 8. We do what we call porch breakfast, which is like yogurt, cereal, French toast, granola, fruit. Our photographer goes around and grabs pictures of everybody, and while this is happening, they're doing their cabin ceremony, so all of your campers are earning their core value dog tags. Um, and we do the unit voting then as well. Then we have lunch. Shortly after lunch, we move really quickly into the parent ceremony. By the time lunch is over, we have just about an hour until y'all show up, and then you'll find out what happens then when we get there. And this is our activity schedule. So Monday and Tuesday, like I said, our activities, we kind of rotate through them. Wednesday, I didn't really explain. Wednesdays are we do what we call clinics, so your campers have signed up for those. Um, but this is what your campers can expect the activities to look like, kind of day to day, Monday to Tuesday. Um, and if you look down there in that bottom left corner, you'll see that not every activity is for every age group. So like Aspen unit won't be doing like mountain biking or outdoor cooking, but we also don't send Wasatch to do STEM necessarily. So we try and keep all of our activities in a nice age range and appropriate. And this is from last year, so you're seeing what actually happens at camp. Up next, we have the dog tags, which everybody loves. These have been a tradition at camp for way longer than I have, longer than some of my staff have, and they've been here for about 15 years. Um, these are the mementos that your camper earns from their time at camp. So every time a camper earns an activity, dog tag, it's a proof that they've accomplished something at camp, and becomes like a cherished memory. And then we started doing the year dog tags, and we give those away starting at 5 years. Um, but there is a limit to this. So like each camper only earns a core value dog tag for every week that they're here. But with the activity dog tags, you can only earn up to 2 during their time at camp. That way we make sure that, they're not just earning a ton of dog tags at camp, and they can enjoy some of the sillier other activities that we offer during those clinic days. Um, while at Camp Roger, health and safety is a main priority. So you can expect the following. Like everybody who is on a mountain bike or a horseback ride is wearing helmet. Campers are always moving in groups of 3. This is for their safety more than anything. I know it's tough to get used to, but it keeps everybody safe. And then all of our staff are first aid CPR certified, and we will provide quality care. We have an excellent health coordinator, and we have volunteer camp nurses. If they require care for more than 24 hours, we will probably ask you to come get them. And then emergencies, we are all really trained to handle, minor cuts and bruises. It's not too bad. But if something really serious happens, you will be contacted immediately, or by the or by myself, or by the health coordinator. And that email is healthcr@ymcautah.org. So if you get anything from that, you know what you're looking for. Some of the exceptional needs we have at camp: special diets. We do everything that we can to accommodate special dietary requirements for your camper. That includes vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. These are all super common examples. So our kitchen staff are really, really good at managing these. If you have any real questions, please feel free to connect with me on check-in day, the assistant director who used to run our kitchen, or our kitchen manager this summer. Next, one of the big things you probably worry about with sending your kid away is missing home. And we call it that at camp to avoid the kind of psychological response that can happen when you call something homesickness, because as soon as you call it homesickness, a kid starts to feel sick. But it is a normal reaction, and we do believe that with proper handling and care, it can be overcome, and it is an opportunity for growth. We encourage independence, and that space away from home at camp can be a great place for that. Um, but we do use our best judgment when it comes to where your camper exists on that scale to the right. Ideally, we try and keep your camper within the comfort zone or in the growth zone. Once they get into the stress zone, especially with homesickness, if we're calling you, there's a reason for that. Our menu at camp, this is just a very simple sample menu. Some of these things will change, can and will change, but some of them are very consistent. So pizza, potato wedges, and juice can be expected every Sunday. Spaghetti, meatballs, broccoli, garlic toast every Monday. We do that without our silverware. People love it. Um, Tuesday, we do a cookout breakfast. Your campers will help prepare and cook their meals um, in a fire. Not actually in a fire. We're not letting your kids near the fire. That's the counselor's job. But they're helping to prepare and, again, learn some of that stewardship that takes place at camp. Cookout, it's not really a cookout. We do like a barbecue dinner on Tuesday nights. We play music from the porch of the lodge. Everybody hangs out in the field. It's a great time. Um, and then the other couple set meals are Thursday, those Hobo burgers. Everybody loves them. The breakfast on the porch doesn't change. And then every Friday we do dino nuggets before everybody leaves. It's just simple, makes it easy for the kitchen to keep things clean. But other than those meals, everything else can kind of play and change. And we do, like I said, do everything we can to accommodate those special diets. If your camper has special emotional or physical needs, we make do our best to make sure every camper has those needs met. However, there are some things that we just can't do. We're not trained to do. Um, that being said, if you know something is brought to our attention and we need to discuss it, please have a conversation with myself. We will do our best to make sure your camper is having a great time at camp. Um, but if we find that something is outside of our capabilities, we may ask you to send them home. But with that, please know that your camper information is all kept confidential among approved staff. So like I have access to all of that. The health director and the nurses have access to like health history and stuff, but your counselors not necessarily, unless it's pertinent to them, like allergies. Um, but we do try and keep all of that under not lock and key, but keep your information safe for your kids. And then as far as departing camp, we have a closing ceremony every Friday. We open our main gates at 1:30. It gives us enough time to get everybody parked. Everybody can make their way to the amphitheater, get settled. And then we start our closing ceremony at 2:15. The ceremony is super brief. In theory, it should take no longer than 30 minutes. We talk about the week. We give out a few core value camper awards. The golden dog tag gets awarded. Ooh, snaps. Can't forget that. And then we do a few closing remarks and then we head out. You can expect people to help you find parking at camp, and there is also bus service available if that is more convenient for you. But campers will miss the closing ceremony if they take the bus, so just be aware of that. And then a small note about Lost and Found. We talk about this during all of our closing ceremonies, but we will have a table by the flagpole or by the lodge where all of the lost and found will be placed. We encourage you strongly to check there for anything your camper might have left or in their cabins before you depart. We don't hold on to lost and found longer than the weekend following. But if you feel like something got left and you'd like for us to check, please send me an email and I will do my best to find that item. And lastly, when you're packing for camp, my counterpart at Mill Hollow had a great idea calling this sleep system. So think sheets, sleeping bag, pillow. Especially on these early weeks, you're definitely going to want layers because it is still pretty cold up at camp. Grab 2 pairs of shoes because you never know when it's going to rain. Mountain thunderstorms are definitely a thing. Sun and bug protection is a must. but we also keep some on site. But it's better for a camper to have their own. A water bottle is a necessity at camp, and then a flashlight, maybe not a necessity, but definitely worth it. Toiletries, obviously, make sure they're going to be able to clean themselves, take care of themselves. If you're lacking any of that, we do have some that we can provide as well, so don't worry too much if you can't find or feel like you've forgotten. And then an important item is comfort items, stuffed animal, journals, book, fidget things. And then lastly, just don't forget the camper's medications. And with that is everything. If you have any questions, please feel free again to reach out to the welcome desk. If you have questions that regard to Mill Hollow, you can find Callie's email address there, and my email address is there at the bottom. But thank you for your time, and we'll see you at camp this summer.